today's conversation, we're going to be unpacking the number one skill that's keeping people stuck, but it's also the number one skill that makes people successful, which is packaging.
If somebody's watching or listening and you're like, I want to make a lot of money, you need to become obsessed with packaging. And I've noticed when you nail this, it makes everything easier.
You don't want the email you wrote, the book you wrote, the video you made, the offer you created. You don't want all the work you did to go to waste.
It's so interesting because you guys say like this thing will change your life if you get this skill down.
The reason why you're a millionaire is because of one shift you made.
The question is like, okay, I get it. Now it's important. How do I get good at this?
I think one thing that people overlook too is your...
Welcome to the department. It's Omar and today's department is the packaging department or the framing department. This conversation single-handedly can change everything about your business and your life. I'm joined by my co-host, ART.MP4.
Let's go.
And then we got a third guest. Shout out to my boy, Neel Dhingra, aka Neel Home.
What's up, bro?
And
I feel out of place, bro. I'm sitting next to two goats right now.
Next to two millionaires, bro.
That's it.
Who got to make millions when we understood this idea.
Yes.
And
it's the least understood thing, but it's the most important to your business. So that's why today's conversation is like A1.
A1. And I feel like when I really think about it, this is why people hire me to coach them. It's like, can I get the way you see and frame my expertise, the way you see and frame everything I do? There's a saying that isn't true that everyone tends to believe and say. It's, you can't judge a book by its cover. But it's the only way you can judge a book.
Yes, but people do judge a book by its cover.
And people do judge a book by its cover. And it's also a biblical idea that like men look at the outward and God looks at the heart. But because we always create stuff from our heart and soul, we're like, man, I wrote this book on my life. It's like no one cares about the book. Everyone cares about themselves. But what makes a best-selling book or what makes a book people want to pick up or get their attention? It's the cover.
Right.
It's the packaging.
Yeah.
And it's the framing.
But didn't Ryan Leake say at Neel's event that he spent $20K on his book cover?
He spent a mortgage on his book cover.
I believe it was $200,000, something like that. He said it was he didn't say the exact dollar amount, but it was equivalent of a house in
mortgage.
Texas.
So let's just call it $300,000.
Yeah, and that's what he spent on just the packaging or the cover of his book, because he said, he wanted to get into the big leagues. And if you're sitting on a desk, with these other books, what does your book look like? Yeah. And, also it's based on the value that's inside. Probably like the biggest thing I see is people have amazing value. They have an amazing video, poorly packaged. You have an amazing speech, didn't start right. You're bringing up, like we just talked about that, you're introducing someone to your group, or you're bringing up somebody. If you didn't introduce them correctly, that has a big impact. So I just think framing has the huge impact on like what value is assigned to whatever it is that you're about to do.
Yeah.
And it also has a huge influence on what people do with the information. Like whether or not they take action. If you're selling, whether or not they purchase. Framing has like a huge impact on all of this.
Yeah. It's kind of, would you agree with this, that how you start something is more important than what you actually make?
Yeah, 100%. Like we just did a session with John Ushai, and he was, he's got 800,000 subscribers.
He's like a YouTube expert.
Yeah, and he's meeting with, Jake Paul and freaking Mr. Beast and all this stuff, and they're doing this content. And he talked about how they spend so much time on intros. And so he just filmed with Mr. Beast, and he said that they would film like 12 to 20 intros so that they can find out the right one, and they spent that much time on the first 30 seconds of the video.
It's crazy.
Just for to make sure that people stick around. Because
you don't want all the work you did to go to waste. Yeah. You don't want the email you wrote, the book you wrote, the video you made, the offer you created. It goes to waste when it's poorly packaged. So I always like to start podcasts with defining things. If it maybe in your definition or explanation, can you define framing or packaging?
So I just think you could just think of it literally like a frame, and your thing is inside of it. And whatever your thing is, it's your speech, your video, your talk, your product, your service is inside of this frame. And it has a huge impact on the value that's assigned to your thing. So you think about the Mona Lisa, Sharon brought this up. It could be on just a print or it could be inside this gold frame, inside this, what do they call the place? And I can't say it in France, the Louvre. I don't remember. There's like it's in this amazing building.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about it in this amazing building with the marble stone, with the church, all these things, and then the frame, the gold frame around it, and then there's the Mona Lisa. Like that changes its value compared to if you just threw it on a piece of paper and showed it to somebody.
Or even brought that exact painting and like maybe put it in this room.
You know who also comes to mind is the late GOAT Virgil
Off-White.
Off-White. But he had this great example. I remember seeing it, and he talks about, if I have this can and I put it in a garage, it's a piece of trash. But if I take the same can and I put it in a all-white gallery or room on the floor or on a stand, it is a piece of art that is probably worth so much. So the environment, the box that something is in
determines
the value.
The value, how people perceive it.
Right.
Dude, when I think about Virgil and all he's done,
Yeah.
I actually don't think Virgil created anything from scratch.
Oh my, dude.
All he did was take things that were proven
Yes.
over time
Yes.
and then repackage them and then represent them to the
Right.
world.
Like every single one of the Off-White.
Yeah, the Off-White
shoes,
Nike
yeah.
and Jordans. Like literally, I won them. In 2017, I won the Off-White Chicago Jordan 1s for retail.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were actually worse than the original. Like you think about it, he's like ripping, he's like taking it apart, making it raw, and then he's putting his stamp of approval, like the air in quotes. And then when he was the creative director for Louis Vuitton, he brought back vintage pieces with a new spin. Like this is like if he had a skill, Virgil understood framing and packaging.
Dude, even at the ultra high level of like being the creative director for Louis Vuitton, he repackaged the brand. Like his like
he just brought he brought his thing to it.
Yes.
But his thing is simply the Virgil touch was just simply, it was quotes, it was color, it was iridescent.
Yeah, but it's crazy to think how powerful that was, because how many people reconsidered Louis Vuitton as a brand they like because of what he was able to reposition it as.
Yeah, and honestly, not to disrespect him, but like bro would just take out a Sharpie and write on stuff,
Sure.
and it was cool.
Right.
So this is why anyone can actually get good at this. Hey, Department fam, question for you. Based on you listening to this podcast, you probably are either looking to grow your personal brand this year, build your audience online, and just stop chasing business and start to have business chasing you. If that's you, I want to invite you to the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a 5-day coaching experience, a live coaching experience with myself that's done all on Zoom, and you get access to a private community, and it really is unlike any other experience that I offer. By the end of the challenge, you'll have unreal clarity on what you're supposed to do online, and you'll have the insight on how you can make an extra 6 or even 7 figures. Yes, I said 7 figures in your business this year. And if any of those things sound great to you, I want you to join the next Content to Cash Challenge. Scan the QR code if you're watching on a television, or click the link in the description. Once you go through it, go ahead and upgrade to VIP, because you'll get an extra hour of bonus VIP Q&A with me every single day of the challenge. And so looking forward to seeing you there. Let's get back into the combo.
This is applied to everything. And like I said, it has a huge impact on the value. And I've noticed when you nail this, it makes everything easier.
Yeah.
So you could make a mediocre video, but because the framing was great, you get more views.
It's crazy.
Like that, and you could have a mediocre offer, honestly.
Right.
But because the framing was great, you sell more seats, whatever.
It's so good. Yeah, it's just, packaging is literally, packaging isn't even mean you're good at what you do, but if you're good at packaging and framing things, you can actually win. It'll let you win. I would say people need to know that you have like permission to actually decide. You get to choose where this fits. You get to choose how you're perceived. You get to choose how you're going to frame this offer. And I see literally in Genesis, the first book of the Bible, where God creates the heaven and the earth, and he creates man. And one of the first jobs he gives Adams is to name every creature. So like Adam, the man, had the permission to name things. And then when he created woman out of the man's rib, he says, I'm going to call this woman. So I think this is why it's so powerful. the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Well, how do people start new things if there's nothing new under the sun? They start new things because they just repackage stuff. Like the iPhone.
So good.
Remember when the iPhone or the iPhone was first presented? They repackaged a computer in your pocket.
Yeah.
That's packaging. So the reason why this is powerful is because you, as a business owner, as a creative, as someone who wants to do something significant, we all have the permission to package things differently in a fresh way, in a powerful way that people will understand. But I guess the question is like, okay, I get it. Now it's important. How do I get good at this?
Yeah. And I think one thing that people overlook too is your brand, your personal brand is the packaging for whatever it is that you're offering. So we have a guy who reached out yesterday in my community and he said, I made this video to recruit people to my company. And he just made the video about why you can make more money working with him. But he has no other content. So I'm like, this doesn't work. Now, if he had the content of how he's a thought leader, the culture of where he works, what their big things they're doing, what he's teaching, people would have a certain feeling associated when they saw his name, when they saw his face. So now the video when he's selling something like come work with me would hit. So because he didn't have the framing or the packaging on his overall personal brand, the sales pitch doesn't hit.
Yep.
And no views, no recruits, you know? So I think like that's the part people are missing, like how you conduct yourself, when you Google your name, what comes up? That's all framing for you, the individual, so that you can sell something later.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that's a make or break thing though? Because I mean, there could be people that are struggling with their personal brand and are saying, if that's what's framing me, then how would I fix that?
Well, they could do it all in a short period of time too. Like you can, that's a library of work over years.
Got it.
But like you can also do it in a 1 hour video or in a 1 minute video.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like the over time, dude. I realized even my perception online had to change from tech YouTuber, creator coach, really, to marketing consultant, business coach.
The offers guy.
I guess the offers guys, like,
Yeah.
and people tell me what they see me as, but I remember distinctly people telling me who are helping me. They're like, essentially, I'm going to tell you what they literally said, but what they essentially were saying. So they literally said, Omar, you don't talk about money enough.
Yeah.
The dude, the tips are great. The crisp, drippy, crispy, amazing. But bro, you have to bring it back to money. Why drippy, crispy? Drippy, crispy, so you can make more, so people can see you and take you more serious.
Yeah.
Like when I chose to repackage myself and present it, people started to perceive me differently. But this is the power. It was my decision.
Yeah, but I think if I had to say just from a friend and outside perspective, the reason why you're a millionaire is because of one shift you made. It was when you first were doing teaching, you were serving people and people would show up. They would watch your videos. You would get all the likes, all the follows, all the webinar attendees, and you wouldn't make the money. And I remember we were having a conversation, this was years ago, and you're like, yeah, and just being real, like you were like, bro, I didn't sell much or I didn't sell anything. Like, and we were just going back and forth. Well, why did that happen? The information was so good. The tactics were so good. But the problem was people didn't associate what you were teaching with income or money.
Right.
And as soon as you flipped the switch, it was like, bro, it was like you were in your own lane. So you think about like everyone's struggling on the freeway. You're in that HOV lane where you're just rolling, bro. And it just like, you just switched out.
Right.
And
Yeah. I mean, what was the tweak though?
Yeah.
which is framing, right?
Yeah. Well, no, 100.
Yeah.
But the tweak came from a deeper place. And this is what people need to understand. It came from the place of prioritizing what people cared about, not what I cared about.
That's really good.
So this is why we talked about right before we started recording, the best people, the people that understand what we're talking about the best are salesmen and women, people who understand sales. Because when you understand sales, the first rule of selling is like understanding, listening. And when you hear the way people talk about their pain points, talk about their problems, like what they really, really deeply care about, that my ability to serve that person is to actually use their language, is to use their frustration, is to use their problem, to use their desires, their outcomes, and then give them the thing. You had people come to Las Vegas, over 100 people, and one guy was like, or girl, she was like, thank you so much. I can't believe, like, my life is forever changed because I'm here.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I'd ever be here. And we were talking about, you're saying like, it's crazy for you to be here. I had to sell you. And I had to sell you to even come back to Vegas to do this workshop.
Yeah, she wasn't going to come.
She wasn't going to come.
She was like, hey, life's been lifing lately, and I wasn't even going to be here. But I'm so glad I came here because now I'm on a new path, you know, and it sounds cheesy, but like this stuff happens to people.
Yep.
You know, and so, yes, I had to put on an event. I had to frame that event.
And you frame forward even as the industry's number one event.
So you have to put it into this package, and then this is the other part, like people don't realize. Okay, so I want to sell a program, a mastermind. You want to sell Inner Circle. We don't just go sell that thing. You put it inside something else. So that's framing as well. Like, so I put it inside a $750,000 event. Like I put this beautiful package around my offer, and you put a 5-day challenge or plus webinars prior to that, plus all the branding prior to that. And then you put your thing inside of that. So all of this is like what the Mona Lisa is. It's inside of something else. And that's what makes the Mona Lisa so valuable, not just the actual thing.
It's so good. I wrote down, people don't see things as they are. They see things as they are. So we see things from within. So the more you understand how people see things. So I did a workshop too this weekend, and a guy teaches wholesaling and in real estate investing. And he was like, we're coming up with YouTube ideas, YouTube titles. And I was saying, somebody's an amateur at packaging and framing when you see how they lead something, how they start something, how they intro something, how they title something, whatever, the name of their book. Most of the time people are packaging the thing with the answer and not the problem or the payoff.
Yes.
And I asked him, how much can you sell a wholesale document for? He's like, probably 20 to 30,000. So is it safe to say that wholesaling is a $20,000 a month part-time gig? He said 100%. Do you think that's more desirable than the idea of wholesaling? People don't even know what wholesaling is. Yeah. So why don't you package things from like your first 20K month? That is, so like that's what people want. And then the Mona Lisa or the thing is like how to do wholesaling.
Yeah, it's like a $20,000 opportunity with no license required, like part-time. What do people really want? So you have to just put yourself in the shoes of like average viewer, average listener, your potential customer. And I just think about like reverse engineering success. So like what are their pain points? What are the things? And then address those. The thing, like you said, this is the biggest mistake people make is they talk about the thing, not the outcome.
Yep.
And so the best example I could think of is like we're selling a trip to Maui. We're going to Hawaii, beautiful beaches, sunsets, family, just amazing. And these people, amateurs, and no shame, this is just a problem. You have to learn to get out of it. They're selling the seat on Southwest. They're like, bro, you won't believe the seat. You get peanuts. You get like 2 Cokes. Man, you get a Diet Coke if you want. Like, check this out. And they're literally just talking about the seat. And I'm like, bro, what about the beach? And they, so it's just a switch you have to make of like, what do people actually want? Well, they want time with their family. They want, decompressing, and then those are the things we need to include in the content.
It's good.
Especially in the beginning of the content.
It's like bringing things down to their essentials. And I've heard that all offers or all sales or everything we all sell affects one of 3 areas or all 3. And it's health, wealth, or relationships. These are things people want. They want to get good at, they want to be better at. And honestly, I have kind of like this framework that Jesus even used. Jesus was the greatest communicator of all time, and he called people with their language based on their agriculture and things like that. So he would use imagery that they would understand to communicate something he knew they needed. And another cool thing, the way Jesus healed or took care of people or saved people, the way Jesus saved people is he didn't just save them. He helped them with their immediate need. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm healed. I can walk. I was paralyzed. I had an issue in my body, and they're healed. And then he says, go and sin no more. You're saved. You've been saved. But if you come to people directly with the solution, they don't even know it's the solution.
Because they don't even know they have a problem.
Sometimes they don't even
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So this is where you can get really good, and we're considered, I guess, if you were to put us on in a textbook, we'd be digital marketers.
Yep.
The greatest marketers understand this.
Yep.
Every industry, every sphere, every sport, every whatever, the best marketers are the most paid. Who's the most paid UFC fighter?
Was Conor McGregor.
Was he not anymore? I would think.
I think he's like off the list. Or
Who's
something
the
now.
most paid boxer?
Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, who's the most paid basketball player?
I believe it's LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, like living.
Yeah.
I guess Michael Jordan's like
Active.
really paid out. Bro's a billionaire. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That these guys are incredible marketers.
Yes.
Kevin Hart, most famous comedian.
And they're not necessarily the best.
No, 100.
They're the best marketer.
They're the best marketer.
packager.
So I say that because like I want to bring helpful, tactics and kind of understanding that positioning really is literally why people could, when I say positioning and framing, it's literally why people could charge a little or a lot.
Yep.
Like, and I'm just going to share this very quick story. I was a part of Think Media for a long time. And for a long time, Think Media's most expensive and only offer was a $1,000 offer. I then meet essentially a kid. I think he was under 30. He might have been 27. So Think Media sold a YouTube offer for $1,000. And then this guy, I don't want to say his name, he sold his YouTube offer for $30,000. They both help you with YouTube. Why could he charge more than the $1,000 course?
It must have been way more information.
It must
way
have been
better.
different information.
Yeah.
It must have. No,
No.
it was who he understood needed to buy it and how he packaged the offer.
Yeah.
And he packaged the offer as YouTube being a business versus how to win on YouTube. Like which one kind of demands more for like
Well, one is tied to an outcome, and one is tied to the thing.
Yeah. Which one has more ROI?
exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, what do people really want? And some people, like in Think Media's audience, might just want to be YouTubers. But then in that case, they want views. They want fame. They want to be an influencer. And then some people are small business owners and they want money. They want clients. So you have to realize, like, who are we trying to serve? And sometimes you get stuck. And I think a lot of people struggle with this. Maybe I'd love to hear you guys take on this. What happens if the audience that you're trying to serve or the ideal customer is multiple things? So I'll say, who do you want to serve? And they're like, well, men, women, some people, this industry, some this, some, and I'm like, oh, no. Like, who is it? And it's hard for entrepreneurs to be like, I want to serve this person.
Right.
Because they have to narrow it.
Yeah. So
Because that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Like people don't know who they're serving.
And part of framing is knowing exactly who that person is and how we can help them.
yeah, this is just an observation I've made over some time, and it's that a lot of people, they're obsessed about their offer or the way they want to help people, and then they want that to be their niche. It's like, I want the way I help people to be how I'm seen online, which it doesn't necessarily always correlate, because people are like, yeah, I'm into coffee and Porsches and marketing and podcasts. It's like, yeah, that's like you can't, that won't work online. But this is what I like to say. If you understand broad appeal with a niche focus, that's how you win.
Yeah.
So my podcast has essentially broad appeal when it comes to business and marketing. Even that's kind of niche, but let's just call it business marketing. For the most part, is my podcast, The Department. My offer is specifically helping people increase their awareness online and make more money online. And a lot of the times it's not always an immediate connection to an offer, because you want to cast a wide net, funnel or value ladder or whatever, cast a wide net, and then the right people will sift through the process, and then you'll serve the right people. So we have friends that have a podcast, and it's specifically on cheating. Every episode, cheating, because they themselves struggled with that.
Cheating on your spouse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, dang.
Now,
was like,
I
cheating what?
believe, yeah. What other way?
I thought like
Gambling?
cheating. Yeah.
Oh, just cheating
or
in that's
in
a
life.
better yeah.
Cheating in life.
Cheating
yeah,
in life.
yeah.
No,
Cheat codes.
cheating relationally.
Okay.
We were talking about their podcast would be 10x because they've been going for like a year and a half.
They've been really
consistently.
consistent.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are consistent at what they do. But if their podcast was about becoming a better human and having great relationships, and then now you could bring in dating, you could bring in doctors, you can bring in psychologists, and we can have a more broad appeal marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Or
And
even
then-
just marriage, like at least.
Yeah,
just marriage.
there's
Yeah.
a couple on Instagram. I think it's called Meet the Freemans, and it's a husband and wife, and they literally just talk about marital issues from the wife's perspective and also from the husband's perspective. It's blown up, I believe, to 1 million followers, whatever, and they now have 7-figure coaching business where they help couples with this whole thing. And so what's crazy about that is, yes, I'm sure infidelity is included within the thing of relationship advice, but relationship advice is so much appeal. Like every person who is in a marriage or a relationship at one point struggles with this. So now they serve everybody. And so just thinking about like, okay, what could we insert your niche thing under some bigger umbrella? So I think about this as an umbrella strategy. The umbrella is the big theme that could attract more people into your top of funnel. And then your thing can be within there. And I had this conversation with Gary Vee when I first got into content in 2019. And if you go to my YouTube, like it's the oldest video on my channel. I look like a weirdo and I'm just asking Gary, hey, how could I get more views? Like how could mortgage is boring? And that's what I was doing at the time. He said, talk about financial fitness, Neel. Everybody's is interested in improving their money. So I switched at the time to not just talking about how to get a loan, to how to talk about finance, and boom, change the game.
It's crazy.
And it was just that one tweak,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah. No, it's so good because it's just it's literally that's what it is. It's like, okay, the picture doesn't change. It's just going into this frame, and we're gonna take this frame, we're gonna put it in this building, and that's it. You know. So just tactfully, I wrote down a few things that packaging, or these are areas that you can get good at framing and packaging. The first thing I wrote is, and we kind of talked about, was you yourself. Like when you want people to think about you, what do you want them to think about you? And when you package yourself in a way, like I would just say you wear your, and maybe it's because you want to, but over time it becomes your thing. You have your hat backwards, you wear black and dark denim every day, and you wear black shoes every day. Like that is a high level thing that you do because you don't think about what you have to wear. But more than that, it is created a approachable business marketing expert. Like you've created a accessible perception of, dude, I just do loans. But your brilliance and your ability to talk and create content and the content you create, but you yourself are a package.
Yeah.
You know?
Like your style, maybe your communication.
Yep.
It could be the way in which you shoot your videos. Like I would say the quality of your guys' content is packaging, right? Because you're talking about this. So yeah, I think it's like, okay, think about how you could be more authentic and how you could stand out. So that's framing. But then also, then you get into, I guess the formula would be for content creation would be how we're packaging the idea, right?
Yep.
So some people are like, well, I got the setup, I got the look, the fit is dope, everything's dialed in. But then now, what do you want to talk about? You know, and so I think it's like if you have a checklist, if you can nail a few of the things, you're gonna hit it out of the park. But I think people think of like, do you see the mistake where they do one of the things and they're like, okay, why isn't it working?
Right. No, 100. And dude, and here's what's so cool about this is when this clicks, and it's like taxes, you got to hear this type of stuff over and over and over. That's why you got to listen to the department. That's why you got to come to the department live.
Yes, sir.
Shameless plug. We're going to have a live audience that you're invited to if you're listening or watching. Tickets are in the description. Come to Las Vegas. It's going to be fire giveaways. We're going to have merch. And then
When
we're
is
actually November 22nd, Saturday, November 22nd at 10 a.m. And then there's ticket tiers. And if you want to sit at the front, want to hang out, let's celebrate 100 episodes. I say that to say I just packaged that event in the form of a Podcast. Okay.
But let's just break this down really quick because this is important. Like, let's just say you want to do a promo for the Department Live 100th episode. It's very important. It's going to be dope. What if you just came up and said, guys, I want to let you know we're doing our 100th episode and would love to have you here. Like, that's not terrible because you've had a podcast and you have 100 episodes. That's dope.
Right.
But like, you're choosing to do it inside 20 minutes, 30 minutes inside of a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Why? Like, what's your thought process? Because I think this is what people are making a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, well, one principle is the longer you delay the ask, the more you can ask for. It's kind of like a principle I live by. But also, I've obviously earned your trust with attention for 20 minutes to be able to just say whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
Which is cool because this is why you can package anything in any way, which is kind of the point I was trying to make with that the whole concept that when you understand this, life gets easier because all you have to do is this. You get to do the same thing and you just change the name of it. You just change the way you show up with it. I got this from you, that the best marketers aren't people who say 1,000 different things. The best marketers are people who say one thing 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
And some of my best views on YouTube, highest views on YouTube, were editing tutorials, like video editing tutorials. And what's crazy is, and I mean, I'll give this like literal example. If you search, I believe it still shows up, like how to edit in Adobe Premiere for beginners. Okay, bro, I don't even show you how to edit.
Really?
I show you how to set up yourself to start editing. Because everyone doesn't know how to get started. I know that as the expert, but if I said how to get started, as opposed to like if you want to be, if you're a beginner editor, dude, that video has I think 3 million views.
That's wild.
3 million views, and I actually don't show you how to tactfully edit yet. Then that's the next step is like, okay, then I'm gonna show you splicing later in a different video. Yeah. So it just works. We talked about books. I mean, you could tell me the title of your book and I'll tell you if anyone cares,
Titles of videos. Subject lines of emails. Right? Like this is all important packaging. Titles of, like, I'll give you a big example. A lot of people in my industry and honestly coaching, they want to do webinars. So a webinar is great framing for whatever you want to offer. So let's just say you want to offer some sort of mentorship or coaching program or some program that's going to help improve people's lives. Cool. Well, you could just come out and say it and get people, it's almost like direct response, like an ad, but that's less effective. You're not going to get many people to do it. So what most people do is package it inside of a webinar. So the packaging becomes the thing you sell. You don't sell the thing, you sell the package. So you're going to sell the webinar now. You're going to sell the lead magnet, whatever that is. And people need to come to that. Now, here's a huge mistake people make. They'll name it the thing.
They'll name it the thing, bro. Join my school group.
Yes.
People are like, what's a school group?
Yeah, but they'll say, okay, I'll give you an example. Somebody said like how to get more views on YouTube, right? Versus content to cash. Like, which one do you want to attend? Think about the actual name of the class you're attending. Nobody wants to go to school. Here's a big tip for everybody. Don't sell work. If it's hard, like if you're selling something hard, I know it's hard work, whatever it is we're about to do.
Sure.
But the beginning needs to be easy.
It needs to appear easy because that's why people take action.
And then some people say, well, you guys are clickbaiting people. You're not being honest. No. We're making it easy for you. I did the work for 10 years, so you don't have to. So I'm going to take 10 years worth of trial and error knowledge, plus I paid people hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn these things, and I'm going to give it to you in 43 minutes. And then at the end of that whole thing, I'm going to sell you, or I'm going to offer you or invite you to my program.
Yeah.
Now, that's packaged inside of this webinar. And I never talked about the actual thing I'm going to do. I talked about this conversion event. So I think like people need to start thinking of like what you could put your thing inside of and then just sell the thing, that particular package.
Yeah. Most people aren't considering, and I guess this is another word for frame or package is, you're not considering the vehicle in which, or the environment that a person hears your offer.
Yeah.
So And that's like amateur hours is I put out an offer on social media and no one bought it. Yeah, because no one woke up today thinking about buying something from you. And so when you start to offer something on stories or whatever, it's like there was no, they are in the package of doom scrolling.
Yes.
So they're not even in the right mindset.
And then you think about how now if you want to get detailed, and like if somebody's watching or listening and you're like, I want to make a lot of money, okay, then you need to become obsessed with packaging, and to the point where like, okay, now I'm thinking about the title of the webinar. How could that be more attractive to people?
Yeah.
Okay, when people come on, you'll notice if you come to one of Omar's or mine, there's a countdown. What's in the countdown? Imagery of the thing that we may be selling later. Okay, what are the vibes? What's the chat like? How are we starting the session? All of this is packaging. And you think about companies and brands that are obsessed with this. You were just talking about how you might want to purchase a very expensive watch. Where is that store located? Like,
Yeah. In a luxury mall or a high-end mall.
it's the nicest mall in Vegas, right?
Yes.
And then what's the store like? What are the people dressed like? What do they offer you when you come in the store?
Some sparkling water, some still water.
It's not like the plastic Arrowhead, right?
Right.
It's
glass
like
bottles.
Evian, like in a glass bottle. And not just that, they bring it to you on a tray with the cloth on the tray, glass Evian on the thing. They hand it to you, and you're in another world. This is all preparation for you might spend $50,000 on a single piece of jewelry that day. And so they understand this at the highest level.
Right.
So you need to start thinking like these people, especially if you're selling something expensive. Like I would be like, I could never just bring myself to sell my offer like straight up. I have to put it inside of, like, once you understand this, you're like, you can't go back.
Right.
You're always gonna be packaged. And it could be just something small, but like you wouldn't never do it the wrong way again once you understand it.
No, it's crazy. And they say that selling is a series of yeses. So when you come into a store like Rolex or AP and they say, hey, do you want something to drink? It's more chances than not you're going to say yes.
Yeah.
So boom, they got a yes from you. Hey, I'd like, what do I got to do to like buy a watch? Do you want to get on a wait list? Yes. But even if they wanted to sell it to you right now, you might be like, no, that's actually a lot right now. I just wanted to browse. How many people that are browsing for a watch give their information because they're like, yeah, the wait list is an easier yes.
Yes.
And you teach
the next step, yeah.
Sell the next step. But the more yeses, dude. So when the girl called me, this watch, this was my first watch. She calls me, Art was with me. Hey, Omar, this is 2 years after I was on the wait list. Hey, Omar, your watch just came in. When can you come in and buy it? I was like, oh, it's my watch.
Yeah.
Bro, it wasn't my watch.
But they're thinking about literally the words, the way they frame questions. Like it's down to the single things.
It's so interesting because you guys say like this thing will change your life if you get this skill down, and it's so true. But I'll never forget the example that you kind of, told me, and it was you have people come clean the house, and they're not clean. They are cleaning the house, but they're not just cleaning the house. When you walked in, you were like, it changed the way the home felt. So you told her, you were like, you don't clean homes. You change the way a space feels.
And that's what's crazy because what does she do? What does she sell? She sells cleaning.
Yes.
But if you talk about the power of environments,
yes,
and like you are a product of your environment,
yeah,
this is why it's so important to invest in professional cleaning, is because they can do it at a level that transforms the space. And when you're in a transformed space, it calls you to a higher level. So like, what's the value of this? This is sales, you know? So what's the value to you to pay a premium to make sure that the space that actually is where you're growing your family, this is where your kids are gonna grow.
Yeah.
It hits the core. Like,
yeah,
it really does.
and then like to give people a tactic on how they could do this, I think a great thing you could do is use AI as a thought partner. So you would go to ChatGPT and talk about your service or your offer, and just do a brainstorming session. Say, help me brainstorm, ideas for how to package this offer or my program or my service, and make it outcome based. Also, help me come up with ideas on how this would make someone feel, like, because you want it to be emotionally resonant is the term that you want to use, and it will start going back and forth with you. And same thing with like webinars or like titles of things. You could say, help me come up with outcome-based headlines, outcome-based things. And it just switches your mode. So like, even if you're not good at this and you're watching, you're like, dude, how do I get the skill?
Yeah.
Well, you can
AI.
jump forward by just asking AI to help you.
Yep.
But don't just put in, give me a name. Like, give me a thing for this. No,
Yes.
ask it to be outcome-based and go back and forth
That's
with
actually really good. I never even thought of that. Like,
Yeah.
tell it to give you outcome-based things.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there's actually two ways to draw people. It's outcome based and also pain based.
Right.
Yes.
They say if you a lot of times offers are great when they're outcome based. Lead generation is great when they're pain based. And like I think we're titling this video like the number one skill everyone lacks, or like why you're stuck, or something more painful. But then sometimes videos do well where you're like, the fastest way to grow, your money online or something. But it's pain and outcome,
yeah. And so like with the house cleaning example, like the pain of being stressed, a messy space,
Oh, man.
what that does to you.
Just feeling cluttered.
Clutter.
Yeah.
You can't get any. Like if you were to increase your productivity, what can that do for your life? Well, you can't do anything productive when you have a cluttered space. But it takes for the lady who cleaned our house to listen to the feedback of the people or the person.
Right.
Most people just want to like give, and I want to give you what I want to give you. Like even like gifting. Gifting is a great example of that. When people want to gift something from like a deep, from their own heart and soul, they will gift you something they like,
Right.
which is actually a low level of giving gifts. A highest level of giving gifts is understanding what the person likes. It's something you say, do some research.
Or even what they need.
Or what they need.
Yeah.
Like when I think about, every time I say no shade, okay, no shade, but somebody gifted you a crystal ball and like a scroll. And it was like
But it's got their brand on it.
it's got
But
their
like
brand.
just any tip for entrepreneurs out there, don't gift another entrepreneur something with your logo on it. Unless it's like a friend who you guys are supporting each other. There's probably rare exceptions. But like so many times you go to somebody's thing and they're like, they send you a holiday gift and it's like a t-shirt with their company's logo. Sometimes you guys are in competition. So like you be in the same industry and they'll send you their real estate logo. Like, bro, when would I even be able to wear this? You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
that's actually funny. Like the amount of T-shirts we've gotten gifted
Oh my
of
God.
other people's brands.
People will come to the workshop and God
Yeah.
bless, dude. And
but it's
I'm
almost
not
like they're
trying to-
doing it for their own selves.
Yeah, and it's just it's projecting what's within.
Yeah. Mhm.
And their way of showing gratitude is, let me give you something that's mine, that I put my heart and soul in, my business logo, and then here's it on a shirt.
But like the opposite of that would be like, what if they made you a custom video department?
Oh yeah, so shout out to Tom. He made me a custom pair of Jordan 1s. You want to go get it real quick? Go get it while because dude, my Jabin gave me a box of balls as a gift with department on them.
Yeah. That's a gift.
That's a great
That's a gift. And that shows that they did some research. They know what's important to you, not what's important to them.
Yeah.
And so this is the whole concept that you're teaching, is putting yourself in the audience or the person's shoes.
Arguably, it is the highest form of service.
Yes.
It really is. And this is why we say selling is serving. And the greatest salesmen and women are ones that understand who they're selling. And that's why the best kind of sales conversation is to just say, so what are you struggling with, and what's the problem?
Yeah.
Like, and if we can help, we can help. If we can't, we can't. But shout out to Tom. He's getting the plug on the Department podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, you can't see it. But these are custom painted Jordan 1s, Wu-Tang style. Dang. But they got the logo in the back. Let me hide it on my
And the
face.
color, everything's dialed in.
Yeah, like, now this is just really cool. He knows that he knows I like sneakers. And then here's what's cool. He actually texted Soph, hey, do you think Omar would like this? And the first version, Soph was like, I don't know if he would.
And also like get your shoe size probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
That kind
size
of thing. Yeah.
How many people, has someone sent you a pair of shoes with one?
Yeah. So somebody sent me.
foot?
So bro sent me, found out my shoe size somehow, sent me one Jordan, and then had a note in there that he'd like to connect and meet and wants to collaborate. And then it was something like, hey, respond to me and I'll send you the other shoe. So it was kind of like, you needed to like connect with him. So I had to thank him. I made a video, but it was kind of creative way to get through it. But like going back to what you were saying about, what was the last thing you just said? You said something about like how you would, I guess the skill would be in understanding the audience, right? So he understood you, what is important to you. Your business is probably your biggest passion other than your family. And so he gave something like that to you because it'd be meaningful to you, not for him. And though this is the same thing you do when you're making offers.
Yes.
So I've never made this is the part where I've gotten the most views, I've gotten the most money, made the most sales when I truly was locked in with what the audience is feeling. Like, what's their pain? How can I really address that? And so if you go deeper, like you can do a session with chat and you can do a lot of research online to truly understand where your customers are at right now and ask, like, what are the top 10 pain points of fill in the blank for your ideal customers? And then just start addressing those and really and then the people will have the feeling like, man, this guy gets me.
100.
And he's with me. And he, like, for the first time, they feel seen and understood. And when I finally got that, bro, views up, sales up, everything, because you're locked in with them.
Money up.
That's it.
Yeah, when you understand them. Dude.
And you realize how selfish people are because all they're thinking about is themselves.
Right.
And it's like you said, no shade, kind of a little shade, but like no shade, but they're just thinking about what they want.
Yeah.
And that's not what selling or marketing or any of this stuff is about.
Yeah. Dude, I think, kind of sticking on it. It's sometimes verbally processing something gives you more insight or revelation. And, we buy our wives flowers from time to time. And then the reasons we buy our wives flowers are oftentimes predicated with a date on the calendar. So the frame for these flowers is Valentine's Day, is our anniversary, is I love you, right? A few weeks ago, Amanda got braces. She's 36 years old, and she just got braces. And when she FaceTimed me on the golf course, look, I screenshotted it. I could see it in her that, like, man, 2.5 years of this, like, I felt it. I felt her. And so later that day, I sent flowers for the next day, and it just says, I still think you're hot. There's the same flowers.
Yeah.
Same flowers you would get on a Valentine's Day, same flowers you would give on an anniversary, but the frame in which I gave that gift meant more than any of those.
Which is a line on a card.
Right.
One line.
Yes.
Because this one had a pain point attached to it too.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you feel seen, understood.
Right.
So yeah, this is
all people
huge.
want, by the way.
Yeah.
We're all walking through the life saying, like, do you see me? Am I, like, do people care about me? Do people care what I have to say? So when you feed that, like, void, they're more inclined to say yes. This is why changing your verbiage on emails and hooks and changing it from why most people or why sometimes or, I think most people, just go you. The reason why you, fill in the blank, are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? This is literally like Jesus. Are you tired? And like when you start using the word you, it connects better. That's like a simple tweak.
To your point though, of being so locked in on what your audience needs or wants, like, would you say it's almost a selfish or pointless question to ask, Omar, like, I just don't know what I want to be known for?
Oh my gosh.
It's like, that's not the point.
You're literally losing before you even start.
Right.
Yeah, but
you should just focus on like, what can I help people with?
But this is the problem with personal brands and everybody watching and listening. There's certain people watching right now who are like, man, and by the way, like, I don't know how far we are into this episode, but you know how the retention chart goes down. The people who stuck around, like, this is it right here. If you understood the last, like, 15 minutes, game over for competition. Like, you're going to smoke everybody. But I think people come into this game wanting to make everything about themselves, and you can tell. And there's this, like, attitude of, like, look at me. And the best marketers are like, come with me, like, bro, I'm not showing off. Like, when you show your Porsche outside, someone's like, oh, that's cringe. Omar parked his Porsche in front of the thing. No, it's to inspire other people. It's like, I see it. I'm like, hey, my friend is genuinely proud of this car and his business, and he's inspiring other people. That's awesome. Clap it up. Somebody else, like a hater, is like, oh, look at these people. So you just have to know, like, who that person is.
100.
And then I think, like, people who are doing it where they are saying, look at me, that's why they're struggling.
Yep.
Everything's about you.
Dude, this is why this is a whole nother hour conversation to go into. Should you build a business off your passion? But the issue is people think passion is tied to an activity,
Yeah.
not a passion for something deeper like people. I asked my friend Steve, who's been in real estate for like 15 years, 20 years, and I said, "Are you passionate about real estate? You've been in it for." He's like, "No, I don't care about real estate." He said, "I care about people. I care about families. I care about people's financial futures. And if I could play a part in that, that's what I'm passionate about." We just hired, or it was a service where they clean out your kids' car seats and they pick it up at night and they deliver it before the morning. So you never have to skip a beat with your car. Shout out to something Suds, kid car seat Suds LV.
Yeah, but they care about your schedule.
They care about art. Like they didn't even have to sell me. I saw someone else post the service, and when she said they picked it up at night and they deliver it in the morning in a plastic with a bow tied package, I'm like, are they passionate about cleaning car seats? Or are they passionate about serving parents and taking a load off them and serving them? Now to each his own. Maybe they are passionate about car seats and cleaning. Cool. Then like you double win. But that always fades out. You know, like, am I passionate about creating content? No. I would say I'm more passionate about coaching and helping and serving people, and people can feel that. And over time, it's like that's what actually sustains us to do something for a long period of time and come up with new ways to say new things. I do want to ask you, if it came to your recollection, what is the most clicked on email you've ever sent? Headline. Like, if you can think about it.
I believe the subject line. Should we say this out loud? Like, okay, yeah, this, you could steal it, I guess. Making sure you saw this.
So good.
It's a curiosity-based headline.
Yeah.
Or subject line. So it was an announcement that I had made before on social and everywhere, but I know how noisy it is. So I'm thinking to myself, from the customer's point of view or the viewer, how much stuff is coming at them. Mm-hmm. And this is a big mistake people make. Like, let's just say you promote something. They may have seen it while they were dropping the kids off in the middle of something crazy going on. Maybe it's during this podcast, you get a text, you look at it, and then you go back to what you were doing. So then you move on with your day. You don't notice it. So I knew I had to hit them again. And so I wrote in the subject line, making sure you saw this ... And it got the most opens. And
that's fire. Yeah. The two I think about is the scariest day of my life. And I know it was like me focused, but it was a September 11th email where and I think people wondered, because I don't really talk like that. It was like a pattern interrupt. And then I just literally like, this is why I joined the military, is because when I was in 5th grade, and I had to kind of tell that story and why it's so important to lean into your fears and like whatever. And then the other one was, if you're over 40, this is for you. And then you DM me, you're like, bro, you're going to come. But I know how many people are like, I know that, and even the concept of when people turn 40, I know like something happens internally based on people I know that have turned 40. They feel like, wow, this whole new decade, this whole new season of life. I'm like, whatever, I'm about to die. Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, I remember asking Alex Ramosi that question at the event, and because I knew the audience was majority over 40. Mm-hmm. And like, it was just, and he ended up clipping it up, and it was one of his most viral clips from that whole series. So yeah, it's like, who's the audience? What age are they? What are they feeling? And for you to write that email, you knew how someone at that point felt.
Yep. Disqualified, too old to get in the game, have nothing to offer because all the young kids, like there's just so much there. But the contrary is like, you being older actually is the very reason why you can start creating content and sharing.
Yeah. And this is like, for packaging, this is a great way to start a talk. How many of you are feeling this? Or you ever have this happen to you and you're asking a question that you already know the answer is yes for most of the people in the room. So this is like an enrolling question, or I call it the yes question. And it's a great way to start off any talk because everybody gets enrolled. They're like, and they're like, oh, this guy gets it.
Yep.
Right away, straight out the gate.
So good. Dude, I recently took a preaching clip from where I just share the story of not being prepared. Like at its core, it's like, I wasn't prepared for this, but I put a headline This is in short form content. You can choose what you frame your content in with the visual headline. And in this one, it was, if you feel overwhelmed, watch this. Man, like, I mean, it's crushing, and it's a 3-minute short video.
Dang.
Which is long, you know?
But that's addressing the problem for the audience,
Right.
that they're feeling.
So yeah, I know that, like I said, we can talk about this like literally all day. So the biggest how, like, okay, how do you get good at framing? How do you get good at packaging? You get good at knowing people, right? Just understanding them. Listen, I love it when I'm having conversations with people and they tell me the way they perceive their problem. They're literally handing me language to use. One comes to mind is someone said, man, I could set up my whole setup, and then as soon as I see the red light of doom, I freeze. I've never said it that way. But like she said, the red light of doom. That is insane. She's giving me language. If I shot a short form video, I'm like, let me guess, or are you somebody who, when the camera starts rolling, you freeze up? That red light of doom, like just even literally saying that it's going to hit the core of who they are, and then boom, I got them in the palm of my hands.
So just practically, how do you get that language?
Have more conversations and listen.
Talk to people, listen. Look at the emails, the chat in Zoom. When you go to Q&A, they'll tell you in their words.
So good.
But I think the biggest one, and I've found people don't really, and maybe it's a problem now more than it was in the past, but people are very like reserved, especially those who are feeling these types of things or these issues, because they don't want to be embarrassed. So they're less likely to write it out. So I found the easiest way is to have conversations. So let's just say you're trying to come up with better language, better marketing for your thing, better framing. Call people. Call someone who didn't buy your thing, or call customers and be like, hey, like, what are you struggling with? Or how could I make this better? Or what do you need help with right now? What's the top thing? And then just listen. Like literally transcribe those calls, those Zoom meetings, and you'll get the language you need.
So good. Like this is why like most people already have everything they need. Because you've been doing what you've been doing. You've been already having the conversations. You've probably helped people for free. It just wasn't captured. Just kind of like you can go back to those conversations or start initiating more conversations. The second thing, so it's getting good at knowing people. Like just become a good people person. We're in the business of people, and when you understand people more, human nature, human psychology, it just makes you a better marketer. Get good at words. Like understand that words are powerful. Words have more than just one meaning. I had a podcast with a client, and he was like, I said something. He's like, yeah, my friend says if you can be the best manipulator in the room, you win. I was like, yeah. I wouldn't use that word.
Yeah.
And now I know what he meant, but I just was like, I just wouldn't use that word. I would use persuade. I would use the person who could persuade the best wins, right? Like manipulate is forceful. You got to think about, this is why the word mortgage has for the most part, a takeaway connotation, or when people think about mortgage, it's large. So you focus on the payment, you focus on the monthly, that this will number never changes. Like you gotta understand words have power. And then this sounds very degrading, but it's like, get good at what you're good at. Like you could only go as deep as you're willing to go to be able to even conceptualize this whole concept. Like when I say who here believes they're good at what they do in any room, 100% of the room, it just is a very selfish question that I understand. It's a yes question.
Yeah.
But how do you know you're good at what you do? Are you getting people results? Like, are you so good at what you do when people come your way, they're better because of it. They actually get what they paid for. You fill in the blank, right? I think there has to just be a commitment to becoming a better human and being a better service provider, because business is all built on service. And then I just wanted to wrap this up with an encouragement. what podcasters leave with encouragement? I do. You have the opportunity, no matter what season you're in, to name the season you're in. Repackage the season you're in into a season of progress. You're not at a season of loss. You're at a season of learning. You're not at a mountaintop. You're not going to be at the mountaintop forever. So just take it for a season that one day this could change. But this is powerful because people get discouraged, they quit, and they leave what will work for them because they failed to even frame the season they're in a way that would actually benefit and serve you. So I'm in a season of grief, but I've decided to make this all about a season of rest and a season of reflection and a season of service, despite that I need help, you know? So you all have the ability to name your season. A week before your live event, your house got robbed.
Yeah.
And someone could literally go, this must be happening because whatever. Like you actually could choose how you thought about that occurrence. Yeah. But the biggest day of your life was 6 days after your house got robbed.
Yeah, for business.
But you use that as fuel to crush your live event, and then you made $2 million.
Yeah, I think it's like people, I can go either way. It could be like, man, maybe I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. This is a sign. You know, it's like, everyone's like, hey man, is this a sign of X?
You should slow down.
Yeah. That's what it is. Somebody says that to me for
hey,
sure.
Man, maybe
I think my mom said that. She was like, this is a sign, Neel, like you're doing too much. It's like, all right, thanks, Mom. You know,
like, is she wrong or right or yeah. No? You could see it whatever way you want to see it.
Yeah, but I think it's a sign that it's not meant to be easy, right? Like nothing meaningful is easy, and so yes, you're gonna get deterred. You're gonna wonder if you should even be doing this. You're probably not getting views, and then all of a sudden you are, and then like all of us went through a season of like, should I even be doing this, man? Like, what's the point? And then something bad happens. You're like, man, this is a sign that I should quit or pivot.
Dude,
this is enough. But that's the sign that you're about ready to have a breakthrough. I found that like when you have the darkest parts, like literally you're on the cusp of something great. And it sounds like, woo woo, but it's happened to me over and over.
Dude, it is true. The principle that I've learned from Myron that he got from scripture is disruption always follows intention.
Yeah.
So the fact that you experience a level of resistance is an indicator that you're actually heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So don't allow resistance to stop you. Move through it.
Let's go.
So good.
November 22nd, Saturday, 10 a.m., Las Vegas, Nevada, here at the FWD DEPT TVD headquarters. Tickets are in the description, and would love to meet you. If you're still watching, DM me and tell me what this podcast did for you, or comment below, and we'll see you or listen to you or hear you in the next one. Thanks, guys, for being on.
Let's go.
Let's go.